Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Apurv Malik, and I welcome you all in today's webinar session on behalf of TNV Academy. First of all, let me briefly introduce our speaker of the day. For today's webinar, we are glad to have Mr. Ajay Bajpai with us as the guest speaker. The topic with which he is here today with all of us is organizational knowledge that is covered under clause 7.1.6 of ISO 9001 standard. Mr. Ajay Bajpai has audited several organizations for ISO 9001 standard and has assisted many others in implementation of the standard within their organizations. Our distinguished speaker, Mr. Ajay Bajpai, has done his bachelor's in engineering in metallurgy stream. He is also a lead auditor in ISO 9001, 14001, 45001, 37001, 22000, 27001, 13485, 22301 and 50001 standards respectively. He has an industrial experience of around 38 plus years in field of manufacturing, quality control, quality assurance, design services and technical testing. He has been imparting training to a number of organizations, entrepreneurs and individuals on various topics related to ISO terminologies and how ISO standards are implemented within organizations. It was just a brief introduction of our guest speaker today. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Ajay Bajpai. I may request Mr. Ajay Bajpai now to please take over and start the webinar.
Thank you, Apur. I welcome all the participants of this interesting discussion of organizational knowledge, and we will try to share the maximum practical experience which our organization and our team has attained in last 3 decades or so. See, the subject itself says the organizational knowledge. I will be calling it in short OK in most of the places. So what happens? Organizations have got a lot of knowledge bank with them. How to keep it intact, how to utilize this, how to enhance this, and how to get it transmitted or transferred to the existing organizational team. And whenever a situation comes that they are going to leave the organization, they are going to retire from the organization, how to see that those things are intact and further enhanced, and we can convert into a sort of library of the organization so that the similar operations will keep on going. And as we understand that every clause of ISO is related to another clause, so when we discuss that how to determine the knowledge necessary for its operations, we have to run the production process, we have to run the manufacturing process, we are into service industry. So we have to see that all these processes move into a mode of conformity with respect to products and services. We can meet the requirement of the customers, internal, external customer, statutory and regulatory boards, and our interested party needs and expectations are understood for today and for the future, and we can keep on meeting those requirements with the effective utilization of the organizational knowledge, which is represented by ISO 9017.16 clause. This is into various other standards also, but today we are focusing on 9001 standard. Then what happens? The knowledge shall be maintained and made available to the extent necessary. All sort of knowledge, all sort of requirements may not to be maintained. You know, there is a specific requirement at definite places where the maintenance of this, acquiring of this, transition of this, and further retaining it very, very important. So this communication linkage is important, whether we do it with the help of internal communication, we do it to external communication. We have the customer communication, the board's communication, the regulatory board's communication. So this all should be maintained effectively so that we can track it, we can further update it, we can improve upon it. And we also need to see that whatever are the changing needs globally and in the organization and from the customer side, we need to see that we are having a team whose competency is to be known first of all, and then to see that the customers needs, the global needs, The needs, internal and external, are met by enhancing this customer and internal team's competence. We have to keep on making efforts so that the competence is updated and enhanced and so on. Similar way, it is related with the clause 7.3, that is awareness. Awareness needs to be created throughout the organization and within the interested parties. They all should be made clearly in the concept that yes, organizational knowledge needs to be intact. If they are aware why it is required, what are the needs, what will we gain out of it, how they also as suppliers and the service providers will get benefited. So once the concepts are clear, they will start cooperating with us in the development of this. Okay. Also, we need to determine how to acquire the necessary additional knowledge and required updates. We need to develop the system processes and understand how this competency will be increased by in-house training, by outside training, by attending various seminars, conferences, study from the Google, study from the knowledge, attending to the webinars, attending to the various, listening to the various videos. So there are various ways of enhancing the additional knowledge because the technology keeps on changing. Design changes are taking place day in day out into the products and processes. Customer demands are changing and they will keep on changing. So we need to keep on updating and our competence needs to enhance accordingly. Also, we understand that there are sustainable development goals globally as formulated by UN. So one of them is with respect to the quality education. Whenever we are into any kind of organization, or more so if you get into the centers where education is being provided directly or indirectly, the sustainable development goal of education is being coming into picture, and that can be further improved upon by acquiring more knowledge, enhancing the level of education, seeing that education getting a good mix with the practical implementation within the organization. Like when we were certifying a lot of engineering colleges, we were given a feedback that the students coming from 12th and so on are having some weaknesses. And similar way, when we went to industry for third party auditing, they expressed their feelings to us and said that the engineers and technocrats and MBAs who are coming to us, they are at times coming from certified institutes also. But there are weaknesses and these are the gaps. So we had been able to, create an interface between school, college and industry that yes, these goals needs to be met, and for further improvements, we need to take various actions at school, maybe the primary school, then the secondary school, then engineering college, professional institutes, and the industry, and then the final our community where they are going to. So this was the introduction part of our organizational knowledge. Okay, I'll be calling it type of knowledge in organization. Various organizations have already having various types of knowledge available in the organization. Number one, we can look at the experience. We have got experience personal available in most of the organization. And when any organization starts functioning, they always try to see that yes, in the team they have got some young persons operating or recruited, some middle management, and some experienced team is available, so that those experienced middle management and maybe the newcomers, what the training inspectors or trainee purchase team, whosoever. So the experience is already available into the organization, but this experience needs to be kept intact, and further action needs to be taken so that experience is further taken into depth of the organization and benefits are achieved. And then it is also in the information that the organizational objectives are available and they are shared with the organization team. So information sharing in this terms of objectives with respect to okay, is equally important. And okay, again, based upon internal resources. As we said, one is experience, then the other things are intellectual property. Organizations have various kinds of documents, internal standards, visions and policies of the management, or standards available with respect to their production process. They also have gained knowledge from the experience, as I said in the first line, that they have done a lot of experiments already in the establishment of the organization, running of the organization, then development of new production processes, development of the employees. So that knowledge from experience is already gained. So we need to utilize. Also, there has been a lot of failures when we are going into the development process. There are failures into the design and development, into the inspection, into the processing, into the purchasing. So whenever we have got these failures taking place, we have to learn lessons, and the lessons need to be captured adequately and shared with the documented or undocumented knowledge and experience, and get it converted to something like that, as I say, library of the experience of the organization. Then a lot of improvements are also taking place in various processes, products, and services. So these improvements also should be documented effectively. They should be understood by the team, so that whenever we are going for similar type or maybe different type of product and process improvement, the reference of the document is utilized, and we can further improve from where we have left into the development and improvement in the last project done. So these are the type of organizational knowledge we already have, and this is how we can further explore it. Let's go further. Acquire and conceive knowledge. How to acquire and conceive more and more knowledge with respect to the organizational needs, customers' needs, interested parties' requirements. Values we have discussed. Failures need to be studied in depth, root cause analysis, then corrective actions, and then documenting them and making them aware to the team, so that they understand, yes, these were the failures in this kind of a particular development. So in future, let's learn lessons from them. Successful projects. We have a lot of successful projects done in the organizations, the beginning of the company, to the extent wherever they have reached today in 5, 6, 10 years. So there is a history available of successful projects. Let's learn from them when we are going for new projects. Again, repeating the capturing and sharing undocumented knowledge and experience. That's again very, very important. We see and observe the things, but we do not capture them at the right time, or we miss them. So that missing of capturing of knowledge should not take place for improvement of the similar clause of OK. We have got multiple external sources available. We have got standards, we have got academics, we have got various books, like new engineers, new MBAs coming to the organization. They have got a lot of books available there. There are organizations who are maintaining library. We have got reference books. There are conferences taking place day in, day out, particularly from the time the COVID thing has started and affected the whole operation globally. A lot of webinars, a lot of conferences are taking place. We all get a lot of invitations, and we need to select what suits us, what is with respect to our regulatory requirement, what is with respect to our production process, what kind of management discussion is going to take place. So let's participate into it. Active participation is important, and then coming back to organization team and discussing between the teams, yes, that this is what we have achieved from this conference, the new concept we have learned from this. So the sharing needs to be done. Then gathering knowledge from customers. Customers who are coming us for a lot of meetings, we go for customer meetings, customer communication, customer interactions. So a lot of points are discussed when we are discussing new development, or even the process products problems of the existing supply, the transportation or packaging. So they are definitely a team of knowledgeable staff with them. So we need to discuss and gain the knowledge from them, make notes and see that we can further develop what knowledge we have gained from them, and we can pass it within the organizational team and we develop. We also have got a lot of external providers. Outside trainers are available. We have got suppliers. We had situation in the organization where a lot of developments have been done by vendor development department by having a detailed discussions with the suppliers, because in some of the organizations where they are heavily based upon the vendor and supplied items where they are manufacturing less, more of the outsourcing is there. So suppliers given a lot of inputs because they are manufacturing them in their unit, so they know what problems can be encountered further when it is coming back to me as a manufacturer in my company and I am doing the assembly. So a lot of knowledge can be gained from the external providers. Further, customers and end users, the final customers and the end users, they also keep on giving a lot of feedback. Sometimes by way of customer complaints, sometimes by way of customer meetings, sometimes by way of when we go for collection of customer satisfaction data and those kind of feedback. So these discussions, these meetings, these inputs should be taken into a serious kind of a situation where we need to develop our organizational knowledge. We need to utilize these things to convert document system, procedures, libraries, so that these things are becoming a assets for us for the future. Going further, what are the desired results? We have been talking of so many things here. This ISO 971 required this thing, and our organization is so many things from OK activity. So, what all is done? The desired result is organization team is trained onto the concept. So, their concepts are clear that these are the requirements of having a discussion with the seniors, those who are going to leave the company, maybe retire, or maybe switching over the job. This keeps on happening into the organizations, or in many government organizations, they even re-employ the people. They take them on contract. So when the organization team is trained and the concept is clear, yes, these are the benefits. Then they get into understanding and objectives are documented with respect to that, and documents when they are smart they keep on giving benefit to the organization. Also, if we have a good documentation of the understanding of OK system, then our 9000 system gets established with the aim of value addition, and both internal and customer requirements are met. Whatever has been our thought of intending the value addition, the improvements of the organization, that is being met. Then we need to see the design of the reports and the OK plans, that yes, they are smart, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and target oriented. With good language, meaningful and logical. Our team keep on conducting the second party, third party audit depending upon the situation for last number of decades. So we have seen different kind of formats, systems, procedures, but unless they are meaningful, they are logical, and their language is simple to be understood by the team of the organization, the implementation becomes difficult. Implementation, even if it's done, is not bringing the desired results. So we always discuss with the teams that yes, it should be simple so that the team can understand and they can formulate further, they can add it to it. If you put it into a complicated, non-meaningful language and ask for suggestion, what suggestion will come? No suggestion will come. If language is simple, meaningful, logical, then yes, the team will give further suggestion when while they are going to draft the report on OK and are going to make objectives and plans for it. Further going to, there are some specific department where we feel the needs are more specific and more critical. For example, HR functions. HR is a key function with respect to the OK activity of the organization. So it needs to be understood in details. They should be involved and their knowledge level should be kept intact. Their method of conducting maybe the exit interview, their method of conducting of re-employment of the personnel, their method of employing a person below the senior person whose knowledge needs to be transmitted or acquired by the junior team members. So HR is a very a key function in this. Then 8.5.1 is special procedure where the results are not verified immediately after the manufacturing process has been completed. For example, welding process, painting process. So these processes are heavily dependent upon the skill of the operator, skill of the team. So the welders, the painters, they are falling a part of the special process. Their qualifications are different, their OK is different, their approvals are different. So once we are getting into this particular activity, they should be specifically covered under the OK processes, OK documentation, OK WI, and so on. Then comes MMR, monitoring, measurement, record, 7.15 clause, calibration we call it generally into the industrial perspective. So this is also a very specific activity where a lot of understanding is required, lot of training of the personnel, the inspector, the team who are doing in-house calibration or outside calibration, they are communicating and they are coordinating. This is again is a very key function where if a person is going to leave or he has left, their knowledge needs to be intact and kept in place so that the organization function do not suffer. Again, coming to the documentation team related to clause 7.5. Many organizations have, the key documentation department. They have documentation team who are drafting the documents, who are, developing the documents, who are implementing the documentation with the other team members, and they are revising and updating the document. So this again is a very specific process into any organization, and we, into our experience of third party, has really seen a lot of NCs and observations reflected into internal audit, second party audit, third party audit. When the documentation team could not acquire the knowledge, they could not retain the knowledge, they have not been updated onto the knowledge because of the leaving of the staff or the retirement of the team, and the documentation system was not kept intact. So these are, in fact, OK is required in every part of the organization, every function responsibility, but these are few key areas which I thought I will discuss with example. That here, if we are not giving a lot of focus onto OK activity, we start having problems. So that's important to have into this area. Then our OK requirements on reporting of the policy, objectives and procedures of the organization. How policy of the OK will be developed, how OK objectives will be developed, how they will be mixed, intermingled with the procedures of the organization, because there will be multiple procedures starting from the marketing to the completing the chain and dispatching to the customer, and then customer complaints and feedback handling. So every this part of the process, every process approach will get with the OK requirement, because the knowledge, the education, upgradation, and the transition of the knowledge is very important to see that yes, functions are being done on a path of continual improvement. Also, we need to record the results and the nature of knowledge and experience for the future. Every organization will have different kind of methods of this, so they need to develop the system so that their experiences are getting recorded, results are getting recorded, and nature of knowledge is kept intact for the future activity, so that their customer satisfaction ultimately is being increased. That's the result out of the OK. Now we go to the planning part of it. So we have understood the requirements, we have understood the theme, the concept more and more clear. So the organization will go into the development of the documentation of OK and how the reporting formats will be there. Again, follow the principle of SMART, make it good language, meaningful, specific, so that one can track, the data can be collected, objectives of OK can be tracked and fulfilled. Then provide the training of these concepts to the auditors, internal auditors, second party auditors, which we may be using for vendor development activities when we go for the OK activity of the vendors and suppliers, inspectors, other implementers throughout the organization, and they understand the concept and they know the procedures, work instructions, the theme, how the spread of the knowledge will be done. Once they are clear, then the activities will be on. Display needs to be done. Physical displays. Many organizations are very good in physical displays by way of drawings, sketches, work instruction display, board display, procedure part of display as per their concept and culture of the organization. Many organizations display on the websites also, the internal website, the external website, the final website. Many multiple organizations we have seen there, they have got various kinds of websites for this application. So depending upon their need and requirement and to see that it is effectively implemented in the organization, they do the display. There are also various softwares available. Through them also it is documented, updated and implemented and then monitored into the organization. Also effective communication with the interested party. Interested party needs to be made aware. There are organizations, marketing organizations, we have seen they conduct marketing conferences and they spread the concept of OK within their team and in the team of customers, in the team of their dealers, distributors. They conduct the the conferences of vendors and suppliers, and they share their concept and procedures of OK, so that they are falling on the same wavelength, they are traveling in the same boat of improvement throughout the process of manufacturing of servicing of their particular products and service as per the scope of certification. So now the planning is done. Now we go to the implementation part of the actions. We have the objectives, we have the plans for the OK development. So now we go and implement the actions as per the objectives and chart developed by us. And then we have to keep on monitoring all the process as per the concept and as per the plans of the organization. So monitoring needs to be done and objectives needs to be tracked with respect to processes and various plans. Then we come to knowledge transformation analysis. As I said in the beginning in the introduction, we may be leaving, may be retiring, may have a situation where they have gone to bed for a couple of months because of medical condition. Maybe it keeps on happening in the organization. So how do we do this transformation of the knowledge and retain the knowledge? So we need to do the analysis of the objectives and report needs to be verified by the team so that it goes on a improvement path further. And we need to update the objective charts of OK reporting and implementation as required. We always say as required. We should not overdo the things. We should not be underdoing the activity. We should find out a middle path and as per the requirement we should be implementing it. Overdoing also sometimes creates problems. People are getting unnecessarily disturbed, so we need to control the do action. PDCA we have, so do has to be implemented in a controlled way. So now we are further implementing into a manufacturing service situations where the plans are, reports are being filled, records are being generated, and we need to keep on looking into the report with a view that yes, we are reviewing it. There are organizations who look at the report. So don't look, review the report. Be intelligent enough to find out good or bad from the report. So if you do that, effectiveness of the reports will increase. And we need to keep on updating the data in the report and planning chart always. Into the auditing, we see there are gaps. That document is moving positive direction, report is not supporting it, or the individuals are not supporting it. So the gaps will not improve the OK system. Then we always discuss the accurate and precise calculation after implementation. We should be behaving sometimes like as mathematician or scientist. when we are reviewing the report and we are doing calculation, because without calculation, without the accurate results, reports, fact and figures, things don't improve. So next one is review the data, facts and figures, not feelings. Our okay is going on very well. We are acquiring the knowledge very good. We don't consider this very good or okay or excellent in terms of certification processes. When we come to, particularly when we go for surveillance and recertification audit, we want to see the facts and figures. Okay, plan improved 10%. Okay, plan could not improve more than 1%. Okay, plan objective have been implemented 8% in Russian unit, 3% only in Tanzanian unit. Why? So once we get this kind of data, facts and figures, then we involve the team and we plan further improvements. We have done all the action, team is trained, qualified, they are implementing. So now what? We need to do a effective analysis of the data available with us by small group activities, quality circle, cross-functional teams, utilizing the team as necessary, engineering, maintenance, wherever required, as necessary. We always say, don't involve people, don't send them emails unnecessarily unless it is concerning to them. Only involve the team where they can give inputs, where they can be useful for the meeting, where they can give good suggestions, where workers and operators are capable enough when they have been trained. Ask them for suggestions and improvement in your OK policy and objectives. Then now we have the data with us. We have run the system for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year. So we need to keep the data under a monitoring status always. And we give training to the team who can do data analysis. We can use external team, we can do internal team, we can get it conducted by a second party auditor, second party data analysis team to give us the directions so that our internal audit is done effectively with a trained team. Those who are going to conduct the audit of this particular clause, they should be first made clear of the concept of OK. They should be made understood what is the desired result of OK. You do an internal audit by a person who does not have the concept clear of OK, what output will be there. This particular clause has been added into recent standard this year only, I mean after 2015 only. So still the documentation and particularly internal audit we find weak. People in most of the organizations we found the concepts are not that clear. Particularly when we look at the internal audit results, they only said okay to okay, I mean which is not acceptable to us. The data, the NC, the observation, the particular activities are not indicated. The root cause analysis is not done. Corrective actions are not effective. So we need to utilize a team of qualified and trained auditors specifically for this particular activity who can prepare a good effective checklist with the team leader or with the support of MR or the coordinator, and they can do effective audit and corrective actions are again effectively verified and they are implemented in a way so that improvements are seen clearly. So now we have done the internal audit, we are ready with the results, we have few NCs, few observations, few area for improvement coming from the internal audit with respect to organizational knowledge clause. And then we are going for a conduct of review of this activity into the management review meeting as per the planned agenda, where okay report is a part of the agenda. If we do that, then only the further resources, further targets, further action plans are made and they are being tracked once the minutes of meeting are developed by the MRN or the coordinating team, and management is involved. Here I would say the management involvement may be slightly on a higher side because the internal trainings, external trainings, sending team for outside training, all that gets involved. And the deputation of the persons further who are going to retire or who have retired, employing a team with them by involving HR. So management involvement is slightly more in details for the conduct of management review meeting with respect to the OK report, non-conformity action, and allotment of resource for this particular activity. Then we have the plan coming out of management review meeting. We have got minutes of meeting. We have got data. We have got tracking sheet where responsibility, authorities, resources are allocated by the management. So it needs to be implemented, and further action monitoring is very essential, so that the actions which has been come out of a detailed discussion in the management review meeting are implemented effectively, and the time devoted by management is getting converted into some realistic improvement. Some money saving is seen, productivity improvement have been seen, performance of employees have been improved, their organizational knowledge have improved, our library have improved, where if a person is absent, not an issue, somebody else has been able to do the job. New person joining are immediately put on track into their training period itself. The graduate engineer trainee, the MBA trainee, they come, they start performing within very fast time, because they have the documents library available, organization knowledge has been retained, and team is there who will further explain, because they know the benefits of this particular clause and function requirement. And then finally, when we do all this, we get into an improvement mode always. We follow the PDCA and management principles. Oh, okay. SQC techniques have taught us how to bring the improvement into the management system, and by implementing ISO 9000 system and getting certification, which may be or may not be the final goal of many organizations. Many organizations are going for only for improvement. We have seen they say we'll go for certification or not. We'll decide later. First aim is to see that our systems are streamlined, our values are increasing, our organization knowledge is increasing, we are becoming more and more cooperative with respect to each other, we start respecting each other, so improvement will come out automatically. So this is what was the thought of discussions, and further linkages to this can be seen into our certification company websites, TNV system certification with IAS accreditation and IAF with us, TNV certification private limited and guardian assessment private limited. We naturally have TNV Academy who is coordinating the webinars, so we can go to the YouTube channels and understand further clarity on more and more subject which we are doing day in day out. So you can study our website further. A lot of knowledge is available there. So this is what I have to discuss today, and we started from here. And now I hand over to the team and Apur. If they have any questions, clarifications, they are welcome. Hello, Apur.
If any of the participants has any questions, they can now please ask from Bajpai sir. You can also place your questions in the chat box. If you do not want to ask, you can simply write the question in the chat box and I'll be asking on your behalf. If there are no questions as of now, I would say that in future, if you have any questions or any doubts regarding today's topic, you can simply place those questions in the comment section of this particular video, which will be uploaded on our YouTube channel, and we will be definitely answering them on time. So we can now come to the conclusion of this particular webinar session. I would say that I do not find words in expressing that how fruitful this particular webinar session was for all of us. I can also say with much confidence that our participants must have enjoyed the context of today's webinar, and it will definitely add value to their expertise and domain of work. I thank you from the bottom of my heart on behalf of TNV Academy, Mr. Ajay Bajpai, for giving your valuable time and accepting our invitation to be the guest speaker for today. I also thank all the participants for taking out time from their busy schedule and joining us in the webinar today. We will keep sharing the link of these all of these webinars, which will be happening in future as well. And I would request you to please take out some time out of your schedule and attend these webinars if possible. I hope to see you all again soon. Wish you all best of luck on behalf of TNV Academy for all your future endeavors. Thank you once again. I would request all the participants to now please leave the meeting. Thank you so much.